Welcome back to another edition of Sweep the League. Rudy Campos Jr. Stats is going to be joining me. The Rock himself is here. Candice is on mommy duty. She won't be on this episode, but nonetheless, we've got a massive football show going tonight. A lot of surprising 0-2 teams in the NFL, some surprising 2-0 teams. Some divisions have three teams that are 2-0. Yours truly, the Falcons, are 2-0. We're going to get into a lot of that talk. But also, man, it is a massive college football weekend. When I say massive, we're going to have a lot of implications this weekend when it comes to the Final Four in college football. You've got a lot of games that are going to be must watch this weekend. We're going to run down all those games, including the UTSA Tennessee game, which doesn't have a whole lot of firepower going into this weekend. Doesn't have that big old, must-see TV, but the way Tennessee has been playing lately and the way UTSA is playing lately, it could be a battle of two teams that are kind of going in opposite directions right now. Also, we have some Jeff Traylor comments that Rock's going to point out to us as well. It's a massive football show of Sweep the League until basketball starts and until the baseball playoff starts. We're going to be football. Again, this is Sweep the League, brought to you by Special Leaf. I'm drinking a Special Leaf right now. I posted a picture before we hit the record button, so I'm drinking. Yeah, I'm drinking Special Leaf Stats. I'm drinking the pomegranate blueberry drink, which is one of my favorites, man. You have the tangerine ginger, which I also have on deck for the next show that we're going to be doing here next week. But specialleaf.com, go to specialleaf.com, order yours today. You can get it on Amazon. If you're local, hit up Mudslingers, man. Mudslingers drive-through coffee. I hit them up. I mean, you go get the Mudslinger, the original, man. You got the alien drink. You've got the one named after Frank Harris, the Sub-Zero. You've got even the one after Jeff Garcia, our buddy at Locked On Spurs, the OG OJ, the Orange Julius, the granddaddy of them all from back in the day over at Ingram Park Mall. You just got a lot of stuff at Mudslingers, but most importantly, you've got Special Leaf tea, specialleaf.com. Again, Special Leaf, special drink. Go get a Special Leaf drink today.
I want to feel special.
You want to feel special? I know you want to. Everybody wants to feel special. The only way to feel special is to walk around town with a Special Leaf drink. Stats. You know that for a fact. But nonetheless, man, hey, you got Rock. You haven't been on the show in a while, Rock. I'm glad you're back now. How are you feeling, man? You ready to get this football talking away? Because you're balls deep into football right now.
Dude, yeah, I know. And I apologize to all the listeners. I've been, MIA. Just life gets super busy, man. And then, you think you can make the show and then something comes up and you feel bad, man, because you promised, the team would make it. But
it's because you're partying too much for the Cowboys. They're 2-0.
Man. I'm just living life, man. But hey, the Cowboys do have me on a high right now, but I'm not getting up. I'm not thinking Super Bowl yet, or even Super Bowl in general. So
we got to run that Cowboy schedule down a little bit because I don't think they're going to have any competition until week 5, I believe, until they play the 49ers.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. No, but yeah, like you mentioned, I've been in football deep, man. This is the best time of year for me. I do high school sports on Friday nights doing stats, so I love doing that. And then Saturdays and Sundays, man, just football.
It's football weekends every single weekend all the way until February. And another happy camper, because all of our teams are 2-0. Stats, your Buccaneers 2-0. And, nonetheless, they're still in third place in the standings behind the New Orleans Saints and your division leading Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was telling folks, don't discount the Bucs. They've got some pieces there. They can help out Baker quite a bit. The biggest surprise has been the defense, man. Buccaneers haven't allowed any team to score over 17 points. So
they've helped me out in fantasy football. So nonetheless, to say fantasy football, dude, it's been the biggest kick in the groin that I've ever had this year. I've gotten off to the worst start in any fantasy season because why? Because Nick Chubb goes down with a season-ending injury. J.K. Dobbins is down with a season-ending injury. Aaron Rodgers down with a season. There's so many injuries and so many people on injured reserve, and so many guys don't want to play because their JJs are hurting so bad that it's unreal that every player that I've drafted is injured reserve or out for the year, or just doesn't is not doing good. There's so many guys that are not doing good in fantasy football. We can do an entire show just on fantasy football, I feel.
I feel like our next show could be like an update on what's going on
I
our
don't want to
teams
update
in
anybody on
fantasy.
my fantasy
Oh
teams.
God, I don't want to update on some of my teams. It's so
Exactly.
bad.
I'm in that league with Rock, and I'm in the league with you too. And I mean, I think the league I'm in with you,
Um,
Mark, I'm actually doing pretty good. I think I'm 1-1 in that league, but
you just lost Barkley though, right?
I just lost Barkley for tomorrow. So, and you know what the
Oh,
sad thing is? I've got so many shares in Alexander Matson, only to find out today that Cam
Oh
Akers is going to
no.
be a Viking. I'm like, oh my God. It just gets worse and worse for me
oh
this fantasy
God.
football season. So nonetheless, I the only way to defeat a fantasy god is to, rain down the injury bug and all this other unfortunate news. But we're gonna go right into some college football talk because we're gonna save the NFL for later. College football this weekend is ridiculous, man. I mean, we're just running down the games. You've got UTSA against Tennessee. Now, again, those two teams are going in opposite directions. UTSA had all the hype coming in. They were, supposed to be these world beaters, make a big time bowl game. They were going to be, one of the big six bowls, everything. Tennessee was having, it was supposed to be, again, one of those SAT teams that was going to compete, that was going to come in, be world beaters again after last year, all this other stuff. Now it's kind of not, going to be that kind of matchup. We're going to get into UTSA talking a little bit because we have some comments from Jeff Taylor that Rock wants to get into. But you've got other ranked games going in. You've got Florida State at 4 against, they're going to Clemson. Now, Clemson is not the same Clemson team at all. We know that for a fact. Dabo Swinney is on the back end of a lot of, the greatness that he had at Clemson. That's still a must-watch game. Colorado traveling to Oregon. Deion gets his first true test. We have number 19 Colorado going against number 10 Oregon. Bo Nix and the Oregon Ducks are going to be ready for this game. If Colorado pulls off this game, guess what? The next prize is USC and Caleb Williams. So this is the true test for Colorado here. You've got 2 games against Oregon. You've got USC. If they come out looking 5-0 for the season, this has to put them way up there. You've got number 22 UCLA going against number 11 Utah this weekend. Ole Miss at 15 against number 13 Alabama. You've got number 20 Miami against Temple. Now Temple, may not scream anything like that, but Temple's sitting at 2-1. Miami could be on upset alert there. 14 Oregon State against Washington State, who's number 21, both 3-0 on the season. Newly ranked Florida at number 25, coming off of their win against, I believe it was Tennessee. They're going up against Charlotte. Again, Charlotte, 1-2 on the season. Not a big game there for, it's like, oh, it's Charlotte. But no, Charlotte is another team that could put Florida on upset alert. You got the big one, number 6 against number 9. Number 6 Ohio State against number 9 Notre Dame. Number 24 Iowa against number 7 Penn State. Both of those teams undefeated still. USC traveling to Arizona State. I mean, then you're going to end the night with California going to Washington. This is a make or break week, Rock. I mean, we're talking massive games all around. Give me your must-watch game or games this weekend. Don't say the Longhorns. We're going to get into Longhorn Baylor talking in a little bit, but give me those games that you got to watch for this weekend.
Obviously, Longhorns, Rudy. Come on, man. You know I can't say that.
You got to stay away from that for a minute.
No, go ahead, Rob.
You should have expected this, Rudy. Come on, shame on you.
Oh, I expected it, but we got to save the Longhorn and UTSA talk.
No, but I mean, everyone knows it's the elephant game. It's the glamour. It's the mecca of college football. Allegedly, it's Colorado, Oregon. No matter what, everyone's going to be watching. It's Deion. We're going to see how they're going to look out without Travis Hunter. You already saw against Colorado State, but you have a guy who's that talented out against an Oregon team who's pretty solid top 10 team that has, college football aspirations. But I think that's the game to watch, man. I mean, I just want to see if Deion, what he's going to do against Oregon. Is he the real deal? But even then, I mean, they necessarily don't have much to lose. I mean, no one expected them to be this hot so fast. They only won 1 game last season. In a sense, it's already a win for their season. All the hype around them is already a big win for them, him and Deion. But it'll be a good test for them to see what they're going to do. I mean, you saw them allow Colorado State do whatever they wanted last week, and you're facing a very explosive Oregon team. I mean, at the moment, Oregon has a 93% chance to win. I mean, you're facing a Bo Nix guy who Been really solid, taking care of the ball. Has Heisman aspirations a little, but don't really, see him that way. But of course, he's going to be in the talk. He's been a solid quarterback all season. But I think that's the game to watch this week. What about y'all?
So Colorado, Oregon, I think is a great game to watch this week. What's going to kill Colorado is Travis Hunter. I mean, he's going to be out 3 to 4 weeks. That was a dirty hit by Colorado State player, but nonetheless, man, you know what? It's a hit that we've seen countless of times in NFL and college football before. So, yes, was it intent to injure? Probably so, but it's not like we've never seen that kind of hit before in past games. We have, and you know what? It sucks. Hey, Travis Hunter's out. Best wishes to Travis Hunter. He'll be back relatively quick for Colorado for that kind of hit. I think he had a lacerated, was it liver, lacerated spleen, something like that. It was something laceration that he had that's going to cause him to miss 3 or 4 weeks. But you saw what Colorado did last week when they came back, Colorado State, and that was a game for the ages there. I stayed up for the entire time, knowing I had to be up at church the very next day. 6 o'clock to go to church. It's like, man, I was tired, but it was a game worth watching. Colorado pulls off this upset against Oregon. You're looking at a team that would go from 19, depending on what other happens in other games. They could go as high as maybe 15, 14 in that range. If they go into USC the following week and beat USC, can you see them being ranked in the top 5? I mean, beating a top 5 team in USC and then taking care of a top 10 team in Oregon. Is that between us, can you guys see them potentially getting into the top 5, maybe top 6 or 7 if they were to do that?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You would almost have to say so, right? I mean, but who do you knock down? I mean, Florida State, I'll be honest, out of the top 4 teams, Georgia looks terrible. They're going to
100%.
They're going to be on upset alert the entire season. Georgia looks horrible. How they're still number 1, I don't know. I really do not know how Georgia is still number 1. And they're playing UAB this week. I mean, who would you take out of the top 5 or the top 6? I mean,
honestly, Texas.
You would take Texas out?
I mean, okay, I get, they beat the Alabama the road. And, you move them. They moved to, 5. And then they moved to 3. But they did struggle against Wyoming, so that's why I kind of I would knock them down. But also, you're going to face a Baylor team. We'll dive more into that, here in a bit. That's pretty dangerous. Any Big 12 team is pretty dangerous. And then in 2 weeks, you still got, the Red River game, which is always a hit or miss. But, I mean, just looking at them see them struggle against Wyoming, it was expected. But you're telling me if Colorado beats, Oregon, outright, and then they beat USC, I can see them, Texas going down. It wouldn't be a large fall from Texas. Maybe you go to, 6 or 5, which would be fine. But it just depends if Texas takes care of business. But I just feel like Colorado with those 2 top wins is more stronger resume-wise than Texas.
I think it puts them in the top 10. I don't think they go top 5. It's kind of hard for me. The only other team that I can see falling this weekend in the top 4 would be Michigan against Rutgers. I mean, it's very unlikely, but I mean, Rutgers is 3-0. They've got oh God, I'm trying to think of the quarterback's name, Gavin Wimsatt. I mean, he's putting up some stellar numbers right now. I think he's got 8 total touchdowns this season already. 3 passing, I believe 5 rushing. But I mean, you're talking about a Rutgers team playing against Michigan. They beat Northwestern 24-7. They beat Temple 36-7. They beat Virginia Tech 35-16. I'm putting Michigan on upset alert this weekend against Rutgers. That's one team that I'm really looking at. Like, okay, this could potentially be a huge, turnaround for the top 4. Hell, I mean, anything can happen this weekend. It's week 4, man, and it's like the biggest college football week so far, and it's going to be massive, massive, massive. Before we get into any more, we are talking about college football, NCAA football. We're going to get into some NFL talk. Before we do, give a shout out to Special Leaf. Go to specialleaf.com, order your Special Leaf today. Yeah, I mean, you know what? You can go to Amazon. Amazon sells it too. If you're local in San Antonio, hit up Mudslingers. They are selling it there. Also go to Central Market, HEB Central Market. They have it as well. That's specialleaf.com. As like I said, you can order from there. Special Leaf tea. Special drink, #special drink, Special Leaf. You want to feel special? Grab special leave today. So, all right, we got so many games this weekend. Texas and Baylor, man. Now I know we got to get into the Texas talk because we do live in the great state of Texas, but let's not pretend that Texas Baylor is a walk in the park for Texas. It should be. It should be. And I know I'm putting the voodoo on rock here when it comes to when I'm saying that about Texas, but Baylor's 1-2. They've been in every game that they've lost. Now Texas State, I mean, come on, Texas State is improved. I can't say they're not improved. They have improved this year. They did lose to Baylor did lose to Texas State 42-31, close game. Then they played against Utah the following week, number 12 Utah. They barely lost to Utah 20-13. They've been in those games. They beat Long Island after that 30-7. Quick question, man. Is Texas on high alert this week? Is this upset alert? I know, and we got so many games that are on upset alert. Is this one of those games that you can see Texas faltering in?
Yes. One, because it's it's in Waco, which is a very dangerous place to play at. You're playing with house money, and I think we talked about it coming into the season. Every Big 12 team's going to give their best game against Texas. I saw on Twitter that the game's already sold out. And I think it's like the first time they've sold out the stadium in like years, because Baylor hasn't been that good as those old years, with the RG3 years and stuff. But yeah, of course, it's a dangerous game. One thing that Texas is gonna have to take care of is a deep ball. I saw a stat today that their quarterback Sawyer Robertson, I think is one of the him in general has one of the highest percentages of throwing deep, and the whole Baylor team does not throw screens or just anything behind the line. So it's taking care of the ball. Texas has a pretty good, secondary. It's not like all world secondary, but they proved to have a pretty solid secondary. Their DB/safety, Jaron Thompson, he got a pick six last week and he's been real solid in coverage. So just taking care of the ball, man. But I mean, Texas, I feel like they should be on upset alert. They should be expecting it, but I do think they do pull it out. It, like you said, it should be a game that they should win. They have enough talent, to beat a Baylor team, and they just have to take care of business early because it can get dangerous if the game's close and you're on the road. It can get very, very dangerous.
Yeah, I mean it can be. It's going to be a very dangerous game for Texas. I think they're going to win this game. I think they should pull out this game, but again, very very dangerous game coming in this weekend. One more game we want to talk about before we actually move on to some NFL talk is the UTSA and Tennessee game. Now, earlier I had said to everybody that I fully expected UTSA to be 2-1, 3-0 possibly going into this game. Never would I have thought they would have been 1-2. Never in my wildest dreams they would have been 1-2.
Yeah, I don't think anyone saw this coming.
Yeah, I expected them to be 2-1, possibly 3-0 heading into Tennessee, where honestly, Tennessee, I expected 2-1, 3-0 going into this game as well. I was high hopes for UTSA because, hey, this is the game. This is the stamp that you needed. You went into Texas last year and you gave the Longhorns a game. It may have all been for a half, but it was a learning curve. It was that learning process where, you know what? Okay, we know we can go into a big time school stadium and make some noise. This is that game where I figured, okay, they were going to play for 4 quarters. And you know what? Again, I'm not shitting on the idea that they could win. I mean, it's a possibility still because anything can happen any weekend. But just the way the UTSA has been playing, it has Tennessee blowout all over the place. Before we get into Jeff Traylor's comments, stats, Rock, feelings on this UTSA game. I mean, is there any possibility that this team can make a turnaround and get an upset over Tennessee to right the ship that is way off course right now?
I mean, you can never say never, in my opinion. I mean, it's gonna hurt if Frank doesn't play again. I know Jeff Traylor kind of, shadowed that it's either gonna be Frank or Eddie Lee. Eddie Lee didn't look too bad against Army, but I mean, you can never really say never. With Frank, I feel better about it. With Eddie Lee on the road in an SEC game, it's kind of scary, for a guy who's barely in his second start. But it's gonna suck, man. I mean, I really want to pull for the runners, and I always will, but I'm gonna be a realist. Odds are Tennessee pulls this out. they did have a horrible game last week against Florida. Joe Milton, who was receiving Heisman hype, was the glamour boy coming into the season. This looked like a shell of himself against the Gators, who were unranked. But I would expect a team like Tennessee to take care of business, but you still never know. You can never count anyone out because it's college football.
Yeah, very true. Stats, you got anything on this game?
Yeah, it's tough. Like UTSA means a lot to the city, and it's gonna be tough, man. I think Tennessee is gonna they're gonna try and right their own loss from last week. Like Rock just said, the quarterback didn't play very well. I think he's gonna try and make up for that, and I think the Vols are gonna come in there, man, and play at home in front of their fans and show up. I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being like a blowout. Honestly,
Got the writing on the wall, right? Like it has every making of possibly being a blowout. I mean, T-shirt UTSA fan definitely has faith. I still think that it could happen. I really think it might, the possibility is still there. I went from probably giving them 45% chance to begin with to maybe 2% chance. But hey, like Jim Carrey said in Dumb and Dumber, so you're telling me there's a chance. That's what we're looking at. There's a chance there. Trailer's comments, Rock. Can you go over Trailer? I need to know what he said. I really didn't pay attention this week or anything. So what does he got?
Well,
I'm curious too, man.
Well, it's not, pertaining to the game, but he had two comments. One time he talked about their lack of takeaways, how it was an issue. Because you saw in this past seasons, this team was known for their ability to do takeaways, and then I think they're talking about how I think it's UTSA, Arizona State, and another team were the only teams in the nation without a takeaway this season so far, which is very surprising. And they kind of asked him, what do you feel about it? And he just said, I don't know, it's just not happening. He just needs to get done. But to ease everyone's excitement, it's not so serious about the game, but it's kind of a funny sarcastic comment, so don't freak out about this. It's nothing too bad. But he said, on kickers and punters, back in the day they just smoked cigarettes and drank beers. All the kickers and punters did. But I know you can't do that anymore in America. Can't do any of that fun stuff.
He's not lying, dude. I mean, back then you would go to the locker room, crack open a beer, and start smoking a cigarette. I mean, it wasn't just kickers and punters. It was anybody who wanted to could do it, man.
Which made me laugh because, like, imagine just Frank Harris just, pulling up on the sideline, or you just see him on the sideline just drinking a Bud Light UTSA and just say, all right, I'm ready to go, man. When he got injured, just drinks a Bud Light, gets a shot, and he's ready to go. That would be hysterical if college athletes could drink.
I mean, there's that famous photo of Lynn Dawson just smoking a cigarette. It's just like that's what that reminds me of.
Man, I don't know if y'all remember, no, I don't even think y'all remember, man, when cars, they had the ashtrays in the back seat, like literally in the back seat. You would pull the ashtray down on behind the seat, and you could put your cigarettes in there, and then they would have ashtrays in the middle console, stuff like that. I mean, dude, there was times you smoked on airplanes, man. They had the ashtrays there and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, smoking was everywhere. You can do it. You can literally do it anywhere. But nonetheless, man, I don't know. I mean, I'll be real, man. This is my opinion on this whole thing is I really don't care if they smoke or drink or whatever. To me, who cares? I think drinking probably would have more of a effect on a player like during a game than smoking, other than breathing, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a smoker, so I have no idea. But I mean, if he wants to light up a Marlboro in the locker room, just to kind of keep himself calm or whatever, then by all means do it. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother anybody else. So I guess we're gonna have like a humidor or something for the people to smoke in the locker room, cigars and everything.
Hey, I mean, you saw, going back to UT quick, you saw UT smoking cigars when they beat Bama, which I was a fan of, obviously because they beat Bama. It's historical, and no one's really beating down Bama in Tuscaloosa like that and forever, or just in general. But I mean, also you got to save this for the national championship if they, God willing, if they make it somehow.
Tickle the pickle here, Rock. Tickle the pickle here. Did you have UT beating Alabama for real?
Yes, because
Liar. I'm gonna call
no,
liar.
no, I did. No, I did because I know people are saying, well, this isn't, as good of a good Alabama team, and I kind of agree. I do. The quarterbacks, it was going really, kind of shaky coming into the season. You don't have a Bryce Young back there or Jalen Hurts or Tua Tagovailoa, but it's still Alabama. Do I feel bad for him? No. You have 5-star talent. It's Nick Saban, and you just know him to dominate everyone. It doesn't matter what. Alabama doesn't really have off seasons. Yeah, they may have seasons where you go 10-2 and they make a New Year's Six Bowl or whatever, but it's Alabama still. Texas had something to prove. No, I'm being real. Texas had something to prove.
No, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at something else. I gotta ask you in a minute.
No, the thing, Texas had something to prove, and Sark called a hell of a game against Alabama. I was nervous, when Alabama was close, but I mean, Alabama is going to figure it out. I won't be surprised if you hear Alabama talk, in a New Year's Six Bowl or even college football playoff talks, down the road. But I just feel like they're going to figure it out. They always somehow do.
I mean, at least they didn't pull off the shirt like Pat Bev. At least.
Oh God.
Yeah. They didn't go that far. At least.
That is true. That is true, man. I mean, I said it for weeks, on other podcasts that Texas was going to beat Bama. I had no doubt in my mind. Why? Bama was 2-7 against Texas. The only times that Bama has beaten Texas is when their starting quarterback went down.
Period.
Last year, Quinn Ewers, and then previously was in the national title game when Colt McCoy went down. That was it. If they don't go down, Bama is 0-9 against Texas. So I played the odds. I already knew Texas was the better team coming in. I said Bama's quarterback situation was going to be horrendous. You're seeing it now. Bama is not Bama this year the same way I say Georgia is not Georgia this year. Mm-hmm. I mean, the SEC is not the conference this year. Let's be real. It's not.
Yeah. Bama especially just looks like a shell of itself. Like, not even just from the quarterback play, but I mean, I was watching some of that South Florida game, and I couldn't believe that they were like in that game. And Alabama was just making mistake, and it's just like self-inflicted wounds, though. Like the line was causing penalties, they were discombobulated, there was a lack of communication. They just didn't look like the typical Crimson Tide that we've just been so used to under Saban.
No, definitely not. And in remembrance of Alabama's glory years and Rock trying to say Tua Tagovailoa's name, we're gonna have Rock do a.
Wait. Say it again.
Tua Tagovailoa.
I knew I said it wrong, babe.
What did you say? Tunga Viola? Tungalova.
Hey, like they say in media, man. You say something wrong, you just keep going. But if you want to correct yourself. But I just kept going.
So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna give Rock one chance only, and if he gets it right, then you know what, we'll no pressure, Rock. We'll give away a Burger Boy gift card to a lucky person here. Spell Tagovailoa. Don't be looking it up. I'm counting. You got 10 seconds here.
Spell. Are you saying like how I pronounce it or like his actual name?
Spell his actual name.
Okay.
Tagovailoa. 10, 9, 8,
T-A-G
6, 5, 4. 3.
There's no X, Rock.
U-L-I-V-A.
You definitely got it wrong. You forgot the G in there.
Damn.
You got the third. Tagovailoa. I mean, you forgot the G. One of the only letters you pronounced in his last name, and you forgot it.
Tagovailoa.
You spelled it Tagovailoa. You spelled it Tagovailoa.
Are you sure I didn't say Tiger Balm?
No, you did not say anything like that.
It sounds like a tag-along, like the Girl Scout cookie.
Oh,
so from now, I've never had those. The only thing I've ever had are the Thin Mints, and I think the lemon. What don't they have a lemon one?
Bro, Thin Mint ice cream's oh my gosh! Tell me you've had the Thin Mint ice cream before.
No, I've had Thin Mint cookies.
It's gonna explode if he eats that.
Probably.
It's gonna explode. That's for sure.
I did have some homemade ice cream in Seguin this past weekend. That was really, really good. At one of the local shops, that was really, really good. So I shout out to them out there. Rock, we're not giving away no Burger Boy gift card, but good way to transition into NFL talk because Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins are one of a few teams and actually one of only two teams in the AFC that are undefeated. Wow. There are 7 teams in the NFC that are 2-0 undefeated right now. The only 2-0 teams in the AFC are Rocks Tua Tagovailoa, Miami Dolphins, and the Baltimore Ravens. We got a bunch of 0-2 teams in the AFC. Cincinnati Bengals, man, 0-2. The Chargers, who are putting up numbers, are 0-2. The Denver Broncos are 0-2. Hell, you have the Kansas City Chiefs at 1-1. The Jacksonville Jaguars in the AFC South at 1-1. What is going on? Buffalo Bills are 1-1. What is going on in the AFC? What in the hell is going on here? In the famous words of Lombardi. Surprising 2-0 teams, guys. Give me your surprising 2-0 teams right now.
I mean, Rock, you want to go ahead and go?
Yeah, surprising 2-0 teams. I mean, I have to admit it, Brady. Atlanta.
Why do you have to admit it? They are bad. They are who we thought they were.
But at 2-0, I mean, that's good, 2-0.
I'm just riding the wave right now.
Enjoy it now while you can.
I am. I'm enjoying all of it right there. So we're going to Super Bowl, baby.
And the other one being is, I want to say Baltimore, honestly. I mean, Baltimore coming in, they've always been a good team, but you didn't know how Lamar was going to look in the new offense itself. And that division's just tough, man. I mean, you have Joe Burrow and the Bengals at 0-2, which is super surprising. And then the Browns, who look rejuvenated with their, defense, but their offense is a missile. So it's just, oh my God, they're so bad. And then Pittsburgh, I don't even know what to do with Pittsburgh, but they always have a good defense. But Baltimore, honestly, I mean, that division is always tough. It's always hit or miss. But I think those two teams are at the top of my list.
All right, Stats, give me your surprise 2-0 team.
I got to go Tampa. You got to go
with your own team. You have no confidence in your team.
Yeah, well, I did have some confidence. I had a great deal of confidence, but I mean, that's got to be a surprise to most of the general public, though. I mean, post Tom Brady, that team had already shown issues stemming from last season beyond Tom Brady. So I mean, you got to give the coaching staff, the defense, Baker credit. Every clip I've seen of him, he looks like he's happy to be there. His teammates are embracing him, and he brought back some energy to a roster that really needed it. I'll tell you that, because let me say this: when Brady was there in that last season, you could not find any sort of passion or inkling of energy on that bench. And I hate to say that because, Brady's, he's a legend, but it was the truth. You didn't see the spark. You didn't see the passion. The energy was lost, and that was while he was there. But it feels like Baker brought that back on that team. The other 2-0 team, I was kind of surprised by this. The Commanders. I don't think anyone saw the Commanders being 2-0.
Yeah.
Brian Robinson Jr. is that guy. He's a beast. So, and he is quite the story. His comeback from his injury and stuff is pretty awesome to see him like flourish and using him there. So, Sam Howell, that offense is loaded, man. They've got weapons all over the place. Logan Thomas is still there too. He's still being used.
He got concussed this week again. Massive hit to the helmet, dude.
Yeah, poor guy. But I mean, you got to give them credit. And they're building something over there in Washington. Will it last? I don't think so. But you got to give them props for being 2-0. The other shout out I have to say here, they're not 2-0, but they're 1-1. And our good friend Gio is gonna love this. We have to talk about the Ram in the room. When we were talking about college football, we were talking about the elephant in the room. The story of college football was Colorado. Deion, primetime. The story right now, I think, in the NFL has got to be these Rams, with Puka Nakua's rise, Tutu Atwell. Dude, this team is playing without Cooper Kupp, and this offense looks great, man. Like Kyron Williams is a beast right now. They just traded Cam Akers to the Vikings, and I mean, they usually after a trade like that, you would think, oh, the team's kind of lost a step. Team actually is fine. They didn't need Cam. I think he was more of a distraction this season for them anyway. So, I And Stafford looks great, man. The line's protecting him. He's just throwing darts. Just fun stuff to watch. It's very reminiscent of that Super Bowl run they had way back then, you know.
I totally agree with all you guys' picks. And, for me, it was the Commanders, man. I mean, I think the Commanders are 2-0. Needless to say, I'm not surprised by it so much. Like, I'm not saying I had them going 2-0 to begin with. I'm not saying I had them, as one of the better teams in the NFC East. But I will say that, when they were able to get Eric Bieniemy there away from Kansas City, you're starting to see that that little bit of what he would do in Kansas City with Mahomes. I mean, Sam Howell is one of the better QBs right now. Like you said, they have a lot of weapons. They've given Eric Bieniemy a lot of skilled players to work with. So do I think it continues? You said no stats. I think it continues a little bit further than we're actually thinking. And when I say continue, I think they're not going to be, I mean, they're playing the Bills this week, then they have the Eagles. It's a possibility they go 2-2, but again, the Bills haven't looked really good at all this season. And let's not be real, man. Let's not beat around the bush. The Eagles haven't looked good this season at all either. I mean, they've had their issues too.
Yeah.
So is it a possibility that we see the Commanders at 4-0 this season? Just like my fantasy football season, it's up in the air. I mean, anything can happen. Like, it truly can. Anything can happen with this Commanders. I think the other team, honestly, I think Miami kind of surprises me a little bit at 2-0. And not in a bad way, but I really didn't expect Tua to be, as good as he is right now. Like, I knew he's been pretty good throughout this every year that he's been in the league. But I just felt like they were going to get off to a slower start, especially with some of the injuries on the defensive side. I figured, okay, they're going to come off to a slower start. I expected a whole lot more from the Bills. Not getting it there. I mean, of course, the Rodgers injury is going to play a big part in the Jets, as you saw with Zach Wilson.
The Bills, let me just say this. The Bills blowing that game to the Jets on Monday Night Football is the most Buffalo Bills thing ever.
So not losing in the Super Bowl is better than them blowing that game, apparently.
The Cowboys.
Shut your mouth.
What's that? The elephant in the room? What?
Well, at least Buffalo just got blown out of Super Bowl and they didn't give up a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl with a quarter and a half to go.
Oh, it's okay. The Bills got blown out 3 out of 4 of them.
Yeah.
That's a fact that a lot of Bills fans don't like to be reminded of.
But you know what? I would take that Bills heartache more than anything because they're the only team to go with the 4 straight Super Bowls. I mean, that gives what? If there's ever a participation trophy, it needs to go to Buffalo for that because
it's domination.
Nobody going to the Super Bowl 4 times in a row.
Dude,
back to back to back to back.
Yeah, no. Not even the Pats have done that.
No. So, needless to say, if anybody deserves a participation trophy, it's the Buffalo Bills. But where the most surprising 0-2 teams, we're going to start with stats on this one. Give me your most surprising 0-2 teams because there's quite a few out there that are surprising.
I mean, the first one that comes to mind is probably the Vikings.
Okay.
I mean, come on. You look at this team and you don't really think that it's 0-2. Actually, 2 surprising 0-2 teams are facing each other in the Vikings and Chargers this weekend. So
our luck is going to end in a tie.
Neither one of them gets the win.
I hope
it's
it does.
a tie game. That's the most Chargers thing ever too.
So those 2, and honestly, I think Rock's going to go with Cincinnati. Am I right, Rock?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, it's them and the Chargers for me. I mean, I did know, Burrow was coming in a little, gimpied up, but I mean, in the season. But it's also more surprising how, what's the word I'm looking for? Just really slow and just real their offense has been. I mean, this looks out of sync and it's real weird to see them. You have 2 arguably wide receiver. I mean, Chase is wide receiver 1, but even T. Higgins, he can be wide receiver 1 on any team. I mean, you have 2 guys on the outside, and don't forget Tyler Boyd. and Joe Mixon, who's made of glass, but still, still a fear for opposing defenses. But you have all that, and Joe Burrow, who just got signed to one of the largest contracts in NFL history. I mean, I don't know how your offense is not clicking, but yeah, those are two of my big teams. And with the Chargers, I know the Eckler injury does affect them, but still, you have Justin Herbert, who's a young, elite quarterback out there. They got a new coordinator in Kellen Moore, who I thought would, upgrade their offense significantly. But it's just been weird seeing those 2-0-2 teams, man. Like, Stat said, it's going to be funny. And somehow they ended a tie, but it's crazy to think, Vikings and Chargers probably would have, coming into the season, we would have been all talking about this game. These teams are 2-0. Can we see a Super Bowl preview of this? But 0-2, man, it's real weird.
You guys,
yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Sash.
Yeah, no, it's just fascinating looking at some of these teams, though. Like, I don't think Burrow's 100%. I still think he's got some injury issues. Like, from what is it, his calf? He hurt his calf. Yeah, I think he's still feeling some effects from that, so he's a little shaken up by it, and their O-line hasn't really been doing that well either. And it's interesting because, like, the Vikings, their O-line has not been good either, and their defense has been pretty bad. And it's interesting because Kellen Moore being in LA to help the Chargers, like, he's trying to help balance that ground game too, to kind of get some pressure off of Herbert. But the defense, I don't know what it is. The Chargers cannot figure out their defense. Like, they have J.C. Jackson
and they have
Derwin
players.
James. Yeah, see, that's it. I can't explain that. They have names, and they can't figure
all these
it out.
guys too, and then everyone was like, Chargers next big thing, defense, and it's just like, oh my god, I thought it was gonna be a road beating defense, and nope.
Dude, that AFC West, it's like nobody wants to win. Like, nobody wants to take the division in that. That should have been the most exciting division in football. And it's the crappiest division in football. Like, one of the crappiest divisions. And you know what? It is the crappiest division in football. Technically, it is. I mean, yeah, dude. Okay, let me give you a stat here that is mind-boggling. This is why the AFC West, which should have been the best division in football, which I initially said you're going to get 3 playoff teams from the AFC West before the season started. When you have the Las Vegas Raiders number 1 in that division at 1-1, tied with Kansas City, points allowed, they've allowed 54 points. You know how many points they've scored? 27. And they are in first place. They have probably the lowest or one of the lowest point totals in the league. They are tied for last in scoring. I mean, and you're leading the division. The AFC West is bad, guys. It's terrible. I don't know what to think of the AFC West, but you're right. The Chargers at 0-2. Good God. I mean, go get a defensive coordinator. You took Kellen Moore. Great. Go get Dan Quinn. Go get somebody that can actually run a defense.
Whoa. Chill.
Shut your mouth, man. The Cowboys are going to get there just to lose it again. Let's
chill. All right, Falcons, go enjoy that top 5 pick.
I have no problem. I can definitely use a top 5 pick. Go get me Marvin Harrison Jr. We can go along with Ritter and Kyle Pitts.
Dude, you don't need a receiver, man. They're not going to throw that damn Kyle.
Go get a quarterback, dude.
Y'all just gonna give the ball to Bijan Robinson every play and then just ignore Kyle Pitts.
You can go get Marvin. You can go get Marvin Harrison Jr. alongside Pitts and Drake London. Have Bijan in the backfield, and still go get a quarterback in round 2 or 3, and still get a starting QB in those rounds.
Frank Harris.
Yeah, no, Frank Harris is going to go on year 12 at UTSA, man. I mean. And that's fine. Hey, that's fine. If you're going to stay in school, get paid. I mean, that's the reason why the NIL deals are there.
Love Frank, man. Love Frank, what he's done for the city, but I feel so bad for all his injury, bad luck.
It's an injury bug, dude. It's an injury bug. I mean,
Uncle Rico to the Falcons, dude. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
If you could get one fictitious quarterback for your team, who would it be? Buccaneers, Cowboys, and Falcons. If you can get one fictitious quarterback, who would it be? And there's some good ones out there. There's some damn good ones out
Man,
there.
I know
Oh,
the first one that comes to mind is Falco, but
yes, that's what I was
See,
literally gonna say.
Falco, yeah,
yeah, that's like the first thing that comes to mind.
Falco's a winner. So if you could only, if you could, I guess, get a quarterback, a fictitious quarterback, and you can't double dip. So if Rock says he wants Falco, we can't get Falco.
Damn, man.
We're gonna go by record. So we're all 2-0. Now we're gonna go by point. You're gonna do point against or point for. In other words, scoring or giving up. I'm gonna let
No
stats
scoring.
decide.
Yeah,
Okay,
scoring.
so whoever has the top scorers, scoring team will get it. Obviously, the Cowboys lead the entire NFL in scoring, so Rock gets the first pick. After that, the Falcons come in at 49, the Buccaneers come in at 47. So Stats has the last pick. We're gonna do real quick here. We're gonna do a quarterback draft, a TV quarterback or sitcom quarterback draft for our team. Who would you take? And you know what? We're gonna go a step further. We're gonna do a quarterback and then a position player. So it can be any position player. 2 rounds here. We're gonna do snake draft, so Stats will get the first pick, come in the second round. Before we do, this special draft is gonna be sponsored by Special Leaf. Go get a Special Leaf tea right now, specialleaf.com. If your local Mudslingers coffee, go through the drive-thru, grab a Special Leaf there. Amazon sells Special Leaf too. You want to feel special? Grab a Special Leaf. Special drink, Special Leaf. All right, Rock, first pick. You can either draft a QB or you can draft a position player for the Dallas Cowboys. Who will it be? Rock is on the clock.
With the first pick, and they sweep the league. Fictitious players, NFL draft. Give me Bobby Boucher.
He's going defense.
Yeah, there you go.
Bobby
Bobby Boucher.
Defensive. We're gonna say defensive position player.
Him and Micah, dude. Oh my God, it's game over.
That is a damn good pick for Dallas. Damn good pick for Dallas. So I'm gonna go. I look at the Falcons. I'm thinking, okay, so we need defense. We do need defense, definitely there. I mean, we could go a lot of different ways, but we do need a quarterback. I like quarterback. I was looking at Shane Falco. I like Falco. I was also looking at Paul Blake from Necessary Roughness. Give me the old man there, the veteran, the guy who can lead the team. But you know what? Heart wins over everything. The second pick in the Sweep the League make-believe player draft, Atlanta takes quarterback Shane Falco. So that gives me my QB there. I think that he's going to lead the Falcons to the glory here. So on the clock now are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and their GM Stats.
Oh man, I think I'm gonna go. Paul Crew, the longest yard.
Paul Crew, that is a massively good pick there. Now, which Paul Crew? Are we talking Burt Reynolds or Adam Sandler?
Oh man, both tough. I'm gonna go Sandler.
You're gonna go Sandler, so he's going with Sandler.
I need to have a little funny in there, you know.
All right. So you're taking Sandler. So now coming back around, you've got the first pick in this part, the second round. Who are you going in the second round to join you with Paul Crew?
Man, maybe Frank Cushman.
Frank Cushman.
Might do that. I might do Frank Cushman.
You got to give everybody where they're from. You can't just say that because people won't know.
Yeah. Jerry Maguire.
Okay.
Show
Frank
me the
Cushman.
money.
Show me the money. Frank Cushman. So he's going Frank Cushman. Now I think I need defense. Now we're gonna actually go a couple more rounds. I kind of like this. We're gonna try to rebuild our team here. We're gonna rebuild our team here. So I feel Drake London and Kyle Pitts are getting, they need help out there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go Rod Tidwell, Jerry Maguire, Cuba Gooding Jr., wide receiver, is who I'm going with out there to pair him up with Shane Falco. Now, Rock, what are the Cowboys going? You went defense, Rock. What else do the Cowboys need here?
Cowboys backup quarterback looks pretty shaky. And I'm not saying God forbid something happen to Dak, but you never know. Injuries happen.
Okay.
So gotta go with my guy, the one and only The Rock, who plays Joe Kingman in the game plan.
I forgot
Oh,
about Joe
yeah.
Kingman, The Rock. Oh my God. All right, Rock, go again, man. You got another pick here. We're gonna go another round here.
You
So
know,
far you've got Bobby Boucher and you've got Joe Kingman. You got a backup QB who could possibly be your starting QB because Dak sucks. And you've got Bobby Boucher on the defense. Where are we going next for the Dallas Cowboys?
we need a guy, team player, man. Who's willing to do everything for his team. I had to go with Billy Bob, man, for Varsity Blues.
Billy Bob, you know what? The Cowboys are always screaming for offensive line help. And you're getting it with Billy Bob. One of the best in the game, Billy Bob. Varsity Blues, man. So that puts the Falcons back on the clock. And I'm going to snatch this guy before he gets taken because I have a feeling y'all are going to take him. Bijan needs a backup, and Tyler Algier is a perfect backup. But you know what? He doesn't have.
Don't say it.
He
Oh
doesn't
boy, I bet I know where you're
yes,
going.
he
Don't say
doesn't.
it.
He doesn't have the goal line help that he needs. And when you need goal line help, you get the one guy who scored 4 touchdowns in one game for Polk High. And that is one Mr. Al Bundy. Al Bundy joins the Atlanta Falcons as my goal line back, my Jerome Bettis type player. Buccaneers are on the clock.
All right. Well, this guy once said life is like a box of chocolates. Hook me up with Forrest Gump, brother.
Forrest Gump to go alongside Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. And you know what? You get the best return guy in the game, probably better than Dante Hall, probably better than Rocket Ismail. What's the guy? I went blank for a minute there from Chicago. Not Desmond Howard. Is it Desmond Howard? Devin
Hester.
Devin Hester, yes. Wow, Forrest Gump. All right, last round. Completely last round. Buccaneers back on the clock. So far, Paul Crew is going to solve your quarterback position. Frank Cushman and Forrest Gump. Who is your last pick in the Sweep the League football fictitious draft?
Oh my gosh. Let's see. I guess Darnell Jefferson. Let's go with that.
Darnell Jefferson.
Let's go with Darnell Jefferson. Let's go.
There you go. You're getting some actual players, man. Like you're getting some actual players for the Buccaneers. They're liking you. Now I'm gonna look at my picks here. I've got Shane Falco, great quarterback there. I went Rod Tidwell because that's my other receiver. He's gonna open up the field for Drake London and Kyle Pitts, and to give Bijan that rest on the goal line, we've got Al Bundy. I'm beginning to really like this lineup here. Now I gotta go. I gotta go defense. I mean, you've got the icebox and Becky O'Shea, the freaking make her the first woman in NFL football history. There, I could go that way. You know what? The Young Ho Koo is not. I mean, he's a great kicker, but he's not the leg Nigel Gruff. I mean, I could go with the kicker here. Defense, I mean, Julius Campbell and Gary Bertier. I could have gone both of them. We're gonna go on the defensive side of things here. We're gonna definitely go on the defensive side of the ball. And I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with Julius Campbell.
Okay.
I think the whole left side, strong side thing. The linebacking core. Falcons have a good defense. I think adding Julius Campbell is gonna be a prominent player for the Atlanta Falcons. All right, Rock. Last pick in the draft so far. You've gone Bobby Boucher, you've gone Joe Kingman, and you've gone Billy Bob. Where is the last pick for the Dallas Cowboys?
See, I've shored up the offensive line. I had a solid player. Shored up the backup position with Joe Kingman. You could push Dak, to start, and also you get that glamour with the Rock being there. And Bobby Boucher, him and Micah, just terrorizing offenses. But one thing we all know about the Cowboys is they love the spotlight, they love the name, they love making really weird moves. And we're gonna make history, and we're gonna be the first team to have an animal starting on the team. I'm going with Air Bud.
Air
Oh,
Bud.
wow.
Golden receiver, man. We want to make headlines. We want to show everyone that we can have a dog on the team, and he always found the way to get the ball. Air Bud, man.
I guess you're trying to give Dak that much more help, and adding Air Bud to it probably is gonna. If Dak can't get it done now, then he can't get it done now.
Dude, imagine you're an NFL player and you're trying to tackle a dog. You're gonna miss. Dogs are just too fast.
That is
Air
true.
Bud.
You got to watch out for his air buddies too.
Mm-hmm. Air Raid in Dallas, huh? The Air Raid show, basically.
Dude, Air Bud, that's gonna throw him on a screen and he's gone.
Nonetheless, man, hey, another Sweep the League has come to an end here. We've talked NCAA football, massive weekend coming up here, huge weekend. Implications left and right this weekend for the NCAA football season. Talked NFL, best 0-2 or best 2-0 teams, the surprise 0-2 teams. I mean, there's a lot of them out there. What do you think? Hit us up on Twitter. Contact me at Sweep the League. Rock, give them your Twitter handle.
Garza Jr., Mr. Rocky Garza Jr.
And Stats, give them your Twitter handle so they can contact you with their best 2-0 team and their worst 0-2 teams.
It's going to be Mark the MC.
Mark the MC. You can also hit up everybody else, Candice Avila-Garcia and Shemaiah on the beats as well. So for Rock, for Stats, this is Rudy Campos Jr. Until we sweep the league again next time, see you guys soon.